This is OwlUp, where learning happens in minutes, not hours. For a deeper journey, explore all our courses at owlup.co. Now, let's dive in. Welcome to Chapter 4 of Minimalism, Own Less, Live More, where we're tackling something that might be even harder to declutter than your closet, your calendar. Today we're diving into how to figure out what actually deserves your time and how to gracefully turn down everything else without feeling like a terrible person. Let's get into it. Most of your stress isn't from how much you do, it's from what you agreed to do. You say yes to a quick chat, a harmless favor, a small project. By Friday, your calendar looks like it was written by strangers. How did your time stop feeling like it actually belongs to you? Knowledge workers now spend over half their week in meetings, 21.5 hours. Yet most of those hours weren't chosen. They were drifted into one, sure, I can do that, at a time. The real trap isn't the big, obvious commitments. It's the steady drip of tiny, polite yeses that quietly auction off your attention. Neuroscience adds another twist. Every decision you make drains a limited pool of mental energy. When your day is stuffed with obligations you never really wanted, you burn that fuel on coping instead of creating. That's how you can do everything right and still feel like nothing meaningful moves. Minimalism offers a sharper lens. Instead of asking, how do I fit more in? Ask, what if I deliberately left more out? Not as an excuse to avoid responsibility, but as a strategy to reserve your best hours for the 20% of efforts that drive most of your results, and your sanity. Most people think no is a personality trait, something only ruthless CEOs and introverts are good at. In reality, it's a skill, closer to learning a new language than discovering your true self. You're not just declining requests, you're rewriting the rules of how people interact with your time. That's why it feels awkward at first. You're breaking an unspoken social contract that says, being helpful means being available. But modern work runs on overflowing inboxes and shared calendars, so default availability is a fast track to living on other people's priorities. Learning to say no is how you quietly reverse that default. Most people try to get better with time by hunting for hacks, faster email replies, tighter to-do lists, smarter apps. But if you say yes to almost everything, better efficiency just helps you move faster, in the wrong direction. Saying no starts before anyone asks you for anything. It begins with a clear picture of what is worth a yes. Without that, every request feels equally important and equally urgent. So your brain takes the shortcut. Avoid awkwardness now, pay the cost later. Here's where prioritization frameworks stop being theory and start being armor. Take the Eisenhower matrix. Instead of staring at a long list, you sort tasks into 4 boxes: urgent, important, important, not urgent, urgent, not important, and neither. The useful move is not labeling. It's deciding that only the top 2 boxes are default yeses. Everything urgent but not important becomes a negotiation. Delegate, defer, or decline. You've turned a vague sense of "I'm busy" into a visible map of what actually deserves you. Layer the 80-20 rule on top. Look at the last few weeks and ask, which 20% of activities produced most of the outcomes you care about? Progress, revenue, learning, genuine connection. You're not guessing, you're tracing actual cause and effect. Those few activities become your protected yeses. Everything else has to justify why it deserves space alongside them. Warren Buffett puts it bluntly, write down your top 25 goals, circle the top 5, and avoid the other 20 at all costs. The point isn't the exact numbers, it's the discipline of treating second-tier priorities as quiet threats, not harmless extras. A maybe on your list is usually a no in disguise. In practice, this means pre-deciding. You choose in advance: maximum hours in meetings, number of big projects per quarter, evenings you'll keep unscheduled. When a new ask arrives, you're not evaluating it from scratch. You're checking it against rules you set while calm. That protects you from flattery, pressure, and FOMO in the moment. Boundary setting then shifts from personal drama to simple policy. You're not rejecting the person, you're honoring the system you've chosen to run your life. A senior engineer I coached used to accept every quick sync. Instead of fighting each invite, she ran an experiment. One quarter, she capped herself at 8 meetings a week. Anything beyond that had to displace an existing meeting. Suddenly, sales updates and status checks had to compete with deep work blocks on her calendar, and many simply lost. Her output went up, and so did her reputation, because when she was in the room, she was fully there. Think of an email request like a ball passed to you in a game. You don't have to catch every ball. Your role is to play your position. A designer I know keeps a short yes list taped to her monitor. Does this serve my team's main objective? Will it matter in 6 months? Am I the only one who can do it? If she gets 2 no's, she declines or redirects. You can also use conditional yeses. I can help if we drop X, or I can do 30 minutes async instead of a meeting. You're not stonewalling, you're editing the shape of the commitment so it fits the life you're actually trying to build. Stanford found output drops after 55 work hours, yet many still wear "always available" as a badge. In a world moving toward output-based evaluation, that badge becomes a liability, not an asset. Saying no evolves from a personal preference into a professional edge, a way to guard the long, quiet stretches where original thinking happens. Your future opportunities may hinge less on how much you take on and more on what you're brave enough to decline. Your challenge this week. For the next 7 days, set one hard limit that forces you to say no. Examples: a maximum of 5 meetings, 2 evening commitments, or 3 active projects. Write it somewhere visible. Every time a new request appears, don't decide yes or no in the moment. Ask, what would this replace? If it's not truly worth bumping something, decline or propose a lighter version. At week's end, review. What did this single constraint change about your focus? Every no you practice now is like learning a new chord on a guitar. Awkward at first, then suddenly it unlocks songs you couldn't play before. As you protect your best hours, you'll notice quieter gains, clearer thinking, better sleep, more follow-through. Keep experimenting with limits. You're not shrinking your life, you're editing it so the good parts get louder. Before next week, ask yourself, 1. Looking at my calendar, which 1 and 2 recurring commitments drain me the most, and, if I said no to them this month, how would that free up time for the deep focus work or rest I keep postponing? 2. The next time someone asks for a meeting or favor, what specific no script from the episode, like, I don't do last-minute meetings on project days, or, that doesn't fit my priorities this week, will I use, and how will I say it in my own words? 3. If I protected one non-negotiable time block this week, for example, a 90-minute focus block or an evening with no work, what exactly would I need to decline or renegotiate to keep that promise to myself? This was OwlUp, your daily step forward. This series continues with more chapters on OwlUp.co. Visit OwlUp.co to access the complete course and continue your learning journey. See you there!